been? Where have I been? I've been raising babies, raising chickens, homeschooling, creating a ton new recipes, just cooking a lot. I'm just excited to be here again with you guys, share my recipes with you, and we're starting today with a very tasty one. Hi everyone, I'm Bita with Honest and Tasty. Today I'm making the best fudgy brownies. They're ultra fudgy. I make them all the time. They're intensely chocolatey, and I use einkorn flour, which gives it a moister crumb. Perfect for the ultimate fudgy brownie. You just can't go wrong with these brownies. Einkorn flour is the oldest variety of wheat. It's the oldest grain known to man, and it's more digestible than common wheat. So if you have some gluten intolerances, typically, generally, not talking about celiac, but generally, if you have gluten sensitivities, you can tolerate einkorn pretty well. I'll tell you a little bit more about einkorn later, but let me know, do you like a fudgy brownie? Do you like a chewy brownie? Or do you like a cakey brownie? Or you don't discriminate? I discriminate. I don't like a cakey brownie, personally. I just think it's cake, but more dull. I'm gonna preheat the oven to 350. Now I love this recipe also because I make recipes simple. And this is no exception. Brownies are super easy. I can whip this up in no time. I'm just using one bowl, one whisk. It has to be a heat safe bowl, stainless steel, or you can use a pot. And this is my baking dish we're going to prepare. All you do is crumple up some parchment paper. I always like to use unbleached. Doing this helps it keep its shape a little easier for when we pour the batter in later. And you don't even need to grease that. I'm gonna take my butter. This is why you need a heat safe bowl or a pot. I'm just gonna add my butter straight into the bowl. So I've got it over medium-low. I'm just waiting for the butter to melt, and then I'm gonna add in my sugar. Now this is raw cane sugar, so it's less processed than granulated white sugar. Right now, heating up. Ooh, I love it. All right, it's just about melted. I'm about to add my sugar. Please use grass-fed butter if you can. It is not only more nutritious, it's also more delicious and smells really great. So you can imagine it's just gonna make a better product in the end. In goes the sugar. And then just whisk it in. At first it'll be a little grainy, but then it'll start melting in. And then it's just gonna start to look and feel a little bit smoother. This is important for that crackly top to your brownies. Don't rush it. Okay, it's all melted and super smooth. You don't want it to be hot. If it's hot, just let it sit a little bit before you add your eggs. You don't want to make scrambled eggs. Now, I speak from experience. 2 eggs. Let's whisk those in. And I'm gonna whisk it for a little while because this is what's gonna make that meringue top, that really, really crackly, shiny top. It's the eggs and the butter and the sugar combined. It's just a thing, I guess, the crackly top. So take your time. All right. Let's put these over there. What do we got next? Okay, so next we're gonna add our vanilla. How do I do this to show this? It's been a while, dude. We're gonna add cocoa powder. And now I'm gonna add our einkorn flour. Einkorn wheat it's more nutty than regular wheat flour, but in this case, you're not gonna taste the nuttiness whatsoever, even though it's so good. you're not going to taste that because it's just overpowered by the chocolate. It is higher in protein, and a common misconception about einkorn flour is that it's lower in gluten. It's actually higher in gluten. And because it's more digestible and people who have gluten intolerance can tolerate einkorn wheat flour, that's where the misconception comes from. Oh, it must have less gluten. No, actually, it's just a different composition of gluten. It's got higher gluten, higher protein, but the composition is different in that it's shorter strands of gluten, weaker gluten. You can think of it as pre-digested in a way. And then we've got our salt, good old salt. Now the secret to many chocolate desserts, in my opinion, actually all chocolate desserts, is salt. Chocolate needs salt. Otherwise it's you can get to a point where it's fighting words, but too much chocolate. Now salt balances out the flavor of whatever you're eating. Salt with chocolate, perfect combination. And so don't be afraid to add a little extra pinch of salt when you make your desserts, especially your chocolate desserts. Let it all come together. And what's nice is with einkorn flour, you don't actually have to worry about over mixing like you do with common wheat flour, because it doesn't strengthen the gluten strands in the same way. So it's not gonna get tough, which is so nice. So perfect. I love einkorn. Okay, now we're gonna add our chocolate chips. Now, chocolate chips, chocolate chunks, whatever you want. People will fight about this too when it comes to brownies. You'll hear a lot of people say, oh, chocolate chunk. You know what? I've got both kinds here. And you know what else? The ingredients are exactly the same. That's what's important. Do you have simple quality ingredients without additives? You don't want chocolate chips with additives, unnecessary. Oh, but I do like to take some of these. I do want to take some of these chips out just so I can put them on the top of the brownies right at the end before I bake them. I just like it. And plus I think that'll be nice in the pictures. So I'm gonna add our chocolate chips or chunks, whatever. And I'm just gonna mix that in. I have a square pan here. You can use, again, people will fight. You can't use glass, you gotta use metal as a baking dish. No, you can use whatever you want. And this works perfectly. Glass is perfect, metal is perfect, ceramic is perfect, whatever you want. It just might alter the cooking time a little bit, but it doesn't matter, because I'm gonna tell you how you're gonna be able to tell if it's done. And it doesn't matter what pan you use. You can easily double the recipe though, and put it in like a 9x13. Also, this batter, insanely delicious. Insanely delicious. Just give me a spoon. And you know what? I don't even need a spoon. I don't need a spoon. I think we're proud of it. I'm just gonna add these chocolate chips right on top. I think that looks good. The key to a fudgy brownie is not overbaking it. I will say with einkorn, it's a little harder to overbake because it's just got that moist crumb. But you, nonetheless, don't overbake it. It's gonna go 25 to 30 minutes depending on your oven. You're gonna give it a little jiggle when you think it's about there. And if it doesn't jiggle in the middle, take it out of your oven. And a toothpick poked into the center, it'll come out dirty. But that's what you want with a fudgy brownie. Now what? Now what? These out of the oven. Oh yeah. Shiny, crackly. I'm gonna let these cool. I'm gonna stick it into the fridge because I have to take pictures of these in the sun. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I need the light. And if you cut into them now, they're gonna be let's be real, they're gonna be spectacular. Otherwise, if I were just to leave it out room temp an hour and a half, 2 hours, it's just gonna help set that fudgy texture. When you take it out, it's a little puffed up, and then as it cools, it kind of shrinks back down and becomes fudgy and delicious and just perfect, the texture that you're looking for with the best fudgy brownie. What I'm going to do is take brownies out. Now they're set, so they're gonna be fudgier, chewier, more delicious. By the way, this is a plastic knife and I'm using it. I hate using plastic for many reasons. But the thing is, this isn't hot anymore and only the center is a tiny bit warm. Why plastic? Because it doesn't stick. It doesn't stick. The brownie won't stick to, the little brownie pieces won't stick to the plastic. You could use a regular knife, you just have to keep wiping it after every slice. So, I mean, it's just, this is what I'm gonna use, guys. You see? This is a fudgy brownie. It's just the chocolate chips that are all melty in there. Delicious, fudgy, oh, that's love. And we've got the brownies to taste now. I'm done taking pictures, finally. Oh, you look so good. I have to say, best brownie of my life. Are you gonna try this out? Have you heard of Einkorn, by the way? You probably have if you clicked on this video, but it's a wonderful, wonderful flour for these brownies. Oh, you're a beauty. I prefer storing them at room temperature, keep them in an airtight container, and hide them. No, I'm kidding, share them, but sometimes hide them. These are the best brownies, my favorite. I hope they become a favorite of yours. Like, subscribe. Please go to honestandtasty.com for the recipe. You can just click on the recipe link below. They're chewy and fudgy. My goodness. It's good to be back. It's good to be back.